Today on Let's Wine a Little.
Liqueurs, cordials, bitters, oh my. Today we are exploring all of the spirit add-ons that you didn't even know you possibly needed, from liqueurs, also known as cordials, to bitters with its medicinal background. We'll also look at aperitifs versus digestives and which is which, and we can't leave out all the others that just don't have a place but definitely have a place in your bar. So we're going to build out your bar today and share some fun facts as well as 2 recipes that may very well require a designated driver. We have all of that and more on today's episode of Let's Wine a Little.
In the United States, the terms liqueurs and cordials are often used interchangeably. The term cordial alternately means warmly and gently affable, which is also a wonderful way to also describe liqueurs. The warm and affable worlds of liqueurs bring a burst of color, flavor, and sweetness to your bar repertoire. How are liqueurs created? Liqueurs are created by mixing spirits with a flavoring agent, plus a sweetener. Popular choices include fruits, nuts, coffee, or aromatic spices and seeds. But what makes liqueurs distinct from other dry flavored alcoholic drinks is the sweetener. This is what gives liqueurs the versatility to enjoy as a dessert, cocktail, or to sip alone. Now here's a fun fact. While the terms liqueurs and cordials are essentially the same thing in the United States, in Europe the term cordial refers to non-alcoholic drinks. With liqueurs there are creams. Now, creams date back to the 1970s as an Irish delicacy. Some common flavors for creams include coffee, chocolate, fruit, spices, and nuts. Common cream cocktails include the Nutty Irishman and the B-52. And here's another fun fact. Cream liqueurs contain cream, but creme liqueurs, or anything called creme de, do not. Chocolate and coffee liqueurs. Chocolate and coffee liqueurs are among the most consumed types of liqueurs, often served as a digestive. Common chocolate and coffee cocktails include the Chocolate Martini and the Espresso Martini. And here is another fun fact. Chocolate liqueurs can be dated back to the 1600s, as historians speculate our first interaction with chocolate was likely in the form of a fermented beverage discovered by ancient Mesoamericans. Citrus liqueurs. Orange liqueur was one of the formative citrus liqueurs from the 19th century. Over time, citrus liqueurs blossomed in a variety to include grapefruit, lemon, lime, and others. Common citrus cocktails include the Mai Tai and the Margarita. Here is a fun fact. Citrus liqueurs were historically not made from actual citrus juice, but from the oils and flavorings extracted from the rind of the fruit, generally through percolation. Fruit and floral liqueurs. Early Dutch, German, and French producers used alcohol and sugar to preserve the flavors of fruits such as oranges, cherries, and apricots. Floral liqueurs are among the earliest spirits recorded. Common fruit and floral cocktails include the Cosmopolitan and the Elderflower cocktail. Here's a fun fact. Fresh and dried flowers have different flavors, so floral liqueurs with the same base element may not taste the same. Meet Dreyot. Dreyot artisanal liqueurs are made in the Burgundy region of France using 100% pure fruits and herbs. Ripe fruit is macerated with grain-neutral spirit for 2 weeks in a tank to produce richly flavored liqueurs. Dreyot liqueurs are an excellent accent to fancy cocktails, delicious over ice cream, and desserts are perfect on their own. Most like their historic counterparts, bitters began as medicine. Often the healing potions developed in monasteries during the Middle Ages or by doctors during the 17th century. But more than any other spirit, bitters maintain a medicinal-like character and purpose. Often enjoyed before or after a meal as a digestive. Not surprising, many still include quinine from the bark of the cinchona tree, which the Inca civilization of Peru discovered would settle the stomach by preventing gas, and which remains a component of medicines today. Producers marry bitter flavoring agents to spirits using basically the same processes used to make cordials: infusion, maceration, percolation, or distillation. But they need not add sugar. The flavoring agents are more defined and focused on the bitter parts of plants, and each drink may contain dozens of flavoring agents, creating complex concoctions, many of which are proprietary recipes owned by specific brands. Common flavoring agents for bitters include quinine, angelica, bitter orange, rhubarb, and even artichokes. In addition to traditional cordials, there are some drier yet equally rich flavored spirits to offer as well. Although they make exciting after-dinner sippers, they technically are not cordials because they are not sweetened, but they're equally delicious. Perhaps most famous is Absinthe, which was banned in the United States and parts of Europe for nearly a century because its main flavor component, wormwood, was wrongly believed to cause mental illness. However, Americans came to their senses and legalized it in 2007. It tastes similar to the licorice-like flavors of anise, which is also a secondary botanical in absinthe along with fennel. Producers use anise also to make the dry spirits raki in Turkey and ouzo in Greece, as well as the sweetened and colored French spirits of Pernod and Pastis, which were designed to replace absinthe after it was banned. In Scandinavia, the spirit called Akavi features the distinctive caraway flavors as well. Any way you slice it, this wide selection of cordials, bitters, and more comprise a lively and complex collection of flavors. It's a group worthy of deep exploration, whether served alone with their abundance of flavor and variety or mixed in new and interesting cocktails. They will surely live up to the friendly, affable, pleasant, and easygoing reputation that this entire category brings to any table or gathering. Now, before we go on, we want to take this time to talk about aperitifs versus digestives. And I know there's this huge aisle of all these liquors and liqueurs, and you're like, I don't understand where to go. So here's the deal. Aperitifs are served before the meal. They're used to stimulate the appetite and prepare the palate for the meal. So normally they're light, refreshing, often slightly bitter or dry. So think vermouth, Campari, champagne, or a dry sherry. Now, your digestive, that is after
after the meal. This is to aid digestion and provide a satisfying conclusion to the meal. These are typically rich, strong, often sweet or aromatic. So, brandy, cognac, port, grappa, or limoncello. And just in case you don't remember, here's our chart. Aperitifs start before a meal, served alongside light bites, usually lower in alcohol and light on the palate. But this also often involves a carbonated element. Again, this is to get your mouth ready for the fun evening you're about to have. This is how you start your meal. And if you don't remember, let's talk real quick about the digestives. Again, these are going to be served after the meal is done. So this is all about aiding in digestion. This was once used medicinally, and sometimes it is still used as a way to settle one's stomach. Again, these can be served on their own, and they typically are, but you have Amari and Bitter, they're herbal liqueurs, they're your brandies, they're your popular digestives, and if we didn't say it before, that is your port, your grappa, and your limoncello. Now that we got that done, let's get into a few fun recipes.
Saint Germain elderflower liqueur is literally one of my favorite liqueurs to have in this home. I can't tell you how many times I have enjoyed the very simple Saint Germain cocktail and served it to others because it is that good. Now, let me just give a little background. Again, when I am out and about and I try a new cocktail, I will typically take a picture of the cocktail description. I know it doesn't have all the ingredients, but there's this thing called the internet and you can research it. And so I stumbled upon Saint Germain many years ago, and I have been in love ever since. So much so that Gwendolyn not only joined the email list, like hello, but I ordered their recipe book, and then I also ordered glasses to come with. Now I will say this. There is a glass version of this serving glass. It stays sold out. It's this beautiful piece of glassware that has a gold rim that goes with the Saint Germain brand, and I am still waiting to get myself a set. Until then, I'll go with this acrylic because it works and it's fine. Add to that a carafe. Now, years ago, back in 2021 to be exact, I stumbled upon, because I like to stumble, I'm a little klutz, what can I tell you? But I stumbled upon this concoction where Saint Germain paired up with another sparkling wine brand. Actually, it was a Prosecco, La Marca, and they put together the piece of glassware that I have here, this mixer with a bottle of Saint Germain and a bottle of La Marca Prosecco, so that you can do your own concoction. Easy peasy, right? So I say, you know what, Gwendolyn? Let's do our own thing. So this tumbler, and I guess I'll call it like a mixing glass. It actually has on the side, it has how much of each of the ingredients of the Saint Germain cocktail you need to build it. I'm not gonna build it today because look, when I typically build it, I gotta have room in the fridge to store it because I'm not drinking the entire carafe today. Although I have done it, we're not doing it today. But you start from the bottom, adding your Brut sparkling wine or Sauvignon Blanc. Then you add your club soda or sparkling water, and then you top it off with Saint Germain. You cannot go wrong when your carafe has the recipe for one of your best signature cocktails on it. Best thing. Now, this is great for my groups, but then I found this one. This is built for those who just want a single serving of the Saint Germain carafe. Saint Germain cocktail. It is a smaller serving carafe with the exact same recipe on it so that you don't have to remember anything. But let's put this aside, shall we? Okay, now I know this has nothing to do with the liqueur itself, but this bottle is gorgeous. Who doesn't love a bottle like this on their bar? Look at that. Is that not the prettiest liqueur you've ever seen? Like, come on. I would buy it just for that reason alone, but that's not why I bought it. I'm just gonna say it's not why I bought it. And yes, I do like the top as well. That top is gorgeous. Okay, but let me tell you about the cocktails, aperitifs, and the digestifs that were in this, I'll say, recipe book from Saint Germain. Now, I'm gonna say it again. When you find a brand that you really enjoy, I highly suggest you go all in. Get on the email list, because they're not sending you random emails that you wouldn't enjoy. They are sending you emails that you clearly want to read, and it's a very good chance that you are going to purchase something that is going to speak to your heart. And I'm sorry, I have to. In case you hadn't noticed, special, right? Actually, spécial, because it is in French. And then on the other side, liqueur. God bless it. I mean, okay, let me stop. Let me stop fanning out over the bottle. What can I tell you? Some of the simplest things excite me. But when I was on their website, this is volume 2 of their cocktails, aperitifs, and digestives. And it really does go into how to enjoy Saint Germain the French way, right? How to drink French fluently, as they say. But it goes into also some really great cocktails that you can enjoy with the Saint Germain elderflower liqueur. It also suggests some of the bar tools you may need to fully take advantage of the spécial liqueur that you have in your home. This has been, again, one of my favorites in my bar. There's a Saint Germain Martini. What? But what can I tell you? When Gwendolyn picks a brand that speaks to her heart, she goes all in. I want the mixers, right? I want the individual mixers, so when I serve my cocktails to my guests, that it looks good. Everything has to coordinate sometimes when you are entertaining. This is one of those ways of doing it. So if there is ever a liqueur that I highly suggest, Saint Germain elderflower is going to be that one for me. Has a beautiful taste. You cannot go wrong. And if you get a chance, do try out the Saint Germain cocktail. We will leave a recipe for you to try. So we can't have a conversation about liqueurs and cordials and bitters without sharing a recipe or two. Now this one I happened to pick up during my last visit to Total Wine. It's called the Berry Crush, and it's very simple. It is 1 part of the Dreyot strawberry liqueur. It is 1 part of the Veil raspberry flavored vodka, and then it's 4 parts of the San Pellegrino. Now let me get my glasses on, because I got to make sure I can see here. This is the Arancito Rosa. Okay, there we go. So the way that you would typically serve it, I'm just saying, would be for a group of people, right? So you would do the whole entire can. I'm going to do a single serving, where again, we're doing the 4-1-1. The 4-1-1. I crack myself up. All right, so let me get 4 ounces here. And what you could do, if you have it as they served it in a prepaid, I'm having this fascination with prepaid. This prepared cocktail. They served it in a champagne coupe, so it was very pretty. And yes, I would suggest, if you're going to do that, getting some strawberries, cutting them up to decorate your drink. Again, I'm not about the frills. I know that people believe that Virgos are high maintenance and that you have to go all out for a Virgo. Those are lies. We are high maintenance, but you don't have to go all out. All right, let's get us a little bit of strawberry liqueur. Gotta get that in there. Andrea is so good. They have so many flavors that you can choose from and add to your bar. We're gonna do a single serving of this berry crush, which when I was in the store was delicious, which is why I was like, oh, let me go ahead and get that. Woo! Be careful with it, because again, it's sparkling water. Oh, you gotta love the sparkling water. And Gwendolyn gets just a little excited, so forgive me, forgive me. Let's pour this in. Now, I will tell you now, I never had a job as a bartender or anybody in the cocktail industry. Probably because my natural nature of being a klutz comes out. It's okay though, I can still get your drink good going. Okay, a couple of things real quick. And I know it's not the pretty with the strawberry and everything, but just walk with me here. That San Pellegrino water, that orange, it comes through. That strawberry liqueur, it comes through. And then you've got that raspberry flavored vodka. Oh my goodness. Okay, delicious. Oh my God, it's so fresh. So here's my idea. If you're thinking, okay, Gwendolyn, I see you drinking it, yada, yada, yada. Now what? My suggestion, when I do this all year round, I would do it all year round. It is very fresh. Keep in mind that the base for this is this sparkling water. Could you serve it without the alcohol? Ugh. If you are doing something and you want your other guests who do not want the alcohol in it, then just serve them this water by itself. It is a beautiful sparkling water by itself. I have it all the time. I keep it in the house. So I was happy to see a recipe that included it. So it's going to be great for your guests without the alcohol. But then again, in a pitcher, you can have the berry crush set up so that they can also enjoy that as well for those who want the alcohol in there. So this is a very fresh cocktail. It is extremely light. That water does amazing things for it. But you really do get to taste the raspberry vodka in there and that strawberry as well. It is all coming together and I am here for it. All right, now that we got that, let me clean this up, because again, a sister is not a bartender, but I can get you a drink made though. I can get you a drink. Let's get on to our next recipe. Now, we are back with another recipe for your bitters, your liqueurs, your cordials. This is a Sazerac, which, from my understanding, is a well-known New Orleans-based cocktail. I hope in the very near future to get myself down to Louisiana and get into some things, but until then, I am going to try out the recipe and see what I get. And then when I get the original, well, maybe I will be pleasantly surprised, who knows? Okay, so let me tell you what the ingredients are, hence the readers are on. We need 2 ounces of a rye whiskey or cognac, 60 milliliters. We need a sugar cube. We need 2 dashes of Peychaud's bitters. If you want to, you can add a dash of Angostura bitters as well. You do need the absinthe, and that is for rinsing out the glass. We have a lemon peel. Because it calls for it, I'm going to follow the recipe as they say. And then we need ice. So I've got my ice here as well.
Now, we've already done some work before we obviously came on. So I've already got my glass here that is chilling. So I have the ice water to chill my glass so that will be ready. This old-fashioned glass, that'll be ready. And then in my mixing glass, I've already muddled my sugar cube. I have 2 dashes of the Peychaud's bitter, and I did add the Angostura, which is optional. So 2 dashes of Peychaud, 1 dash of Angostura if you want to go down that path, and there is just a little bit of water in there. Now, I want to take a quick moment to say this. I don't do a lot of cocktails. I have just come to realize that I don't do a lot of cocktails in my house. I'm a wine drinker. I'm a wine champagne drinker. So I don't have all of the tools that might be necessary. However, when there is a will, there is a way. So we're gonna make a way. I don't have a muddler, but I do have a nice, long handle teaspoon. And it did just fine to get my sugar cube and my bitters muddled together with a little dash of water, just a little dash of water. So now I am going to add my whiskey, and I'm going to add some ice cubes into this mixing glass to get it all together. So we're going to take out 2 ounces there. Woo! God, it smells good. It smells really good. I'm going to add in some ice. A little bit of ice, not too much ice, a little bit of ice just to make it cool. And we're going to stir it. All this says is that I might want to invest in a few more tools. Now that I have all this stuff at my bar. But let me just stop really quick as we're talking about this out loud. Your bar will represent who you are, right? So when I looked at my bar, I thought, I don't have a lot of bitters, and I don't do a lot of, well, I'm falling in love with absinthe on its own. I don't do a lot of like rye whiskey and what have you. So when you start going down this path, you may very well say to yourself, okay, well, geez, like what are the basics? We had the vodka, we had some rum, we had the tequila, a little thing of gin. Like I always do about that. Completely miss all this other stuff. And yes, you know, you have your jigger and what have you, but never needed a muddler because, you know, we just gotta serve things neat. And definitely didn't have a strainer, but Gwendolyn is looking into some things at this point. So just know we are going to build out the bar moving forward. So that'll be good. Okay, so we are going to take our ice water and throw it out. Hold on. Really hate throwing away water and stuff, but this is part of the deal because we want a chilled old-fashioned glass. I am now going to rinse this glass with some absinthe, and I'm going to swirl it around in here to coat the glass. That's just it. I think that's a lot, but we're going to find out the hard way. The deal is to rinse the glass out with absinthe, swirl it all around. I gotta get over the sink really quick, people, and then we're going to toss out the excess absinthe. Hold, please. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, we've got a good chunk of the absinthe out. You can definitely smell it, so that's great. So now we're going to take this mixture and we want to strain this into our absinthe rinsed glass. Now, I don't have a strainer, but you know what I do have? I have a knife. And Gwendolyn is going to take this knife to keep the ice cubes back. I should probably prep myself, but this is when you call using your intuition. When there is a will, there is a way. And I'm gonna do it. Okay, so let's just see here. I just want to keep the ice out. Look at that. It does the exact same thing. It does the exact same thing. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, okay. Sweet. We'll put them off to the side. I won't go too far. This is interesting. And okay, so I'm going to take my lemon peel and I'm going to get all these oils on the glass. And then supposedly I'm supposed to drop this in as a garnishment. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if I want this lemon peel in my drink. We are going to bucket on that one But let me try the Sazerac, as they say. Smells divine. All right. Okay, so, woo. That is interesting. Man, I am tempted as well as interested to see what the Sazerac is like in New Orleans. That, whew, it's got a kick to it. But I would be a liar if I said it wouldn't hit me right now. Woo! I should probably not take, I'm not gonna take another drink. Let me leave the sips alone. But this is the Sazerac that includes a living pill, the oils for your glass. We're rinsing the glass with absinthe. We have included a sugar cube along with 2 dashes of the Peychaud bitters, 1 dash optional of the Angostura, and 2 ounces of your rye whiskey. This, oh yeah, let the good times roll, man. Woo! Talk about a fun topic. When I started the research on liqueurs, aka cordials, bitters, and others, I had no idea what I was going to get myself into. I literally walked down the aisle in the store in amazement, but also I began to recognize that I am far more aware of some liqueurs than I give myself credit for. Again, the Kahlua, the Irish Baileys, the Rumchata, Di Serono, all of those, I had used those time and time again. The Grand Marnier, I knew about those. But then there were others that just caught me off guard. Had no idea that absinthe and ouzo, which are on the aisle but are not considered to be liqueurs. Amazing what options are available when you start walking down the aisle of crafted cocktails. Again, these items are not the basics that anybody would have readily available at their home bar. You will truly pick up some of these ingredients when the cocktail requires it. And until then, I say leave them on the shelf. Now, there's going to come a time where I am going to have a collection of bitters. Don't know when that time is, but that time is coming. But now we know that there are aperitifs, digestives. I mean, I sip on this guy all the time nowadays in the evening, so we have clearly changed our mind as how we look at the other highly flavored spirits, right? They're interesting. But that is the beauty of discovering something new in the world of wine and spirits. You don't know what you don't know until you walk down the aisle. And now, you don't have to go down that aisle without any clue of what you're looking for. You have 2 recipes of what you can try. We have that beautiful, easy berry crush that does include a fruit beverage, not sparkling water. What can I tell you? But then there is also the Sazerac that was, according to my research, born and raised in New Orleans. That has some other sideway, byway origins, but what can I tell you? The good thing is you will start finding more and more cocktails that require these beauties, and that will give you an amazing cocktail life that you never knew existed. Until then, we will see you on the next Let's Wine a Little.